Though the weather outside is frightful, my comics are delightful. Hey there, comic friends! New comic book day for me! I took the long walk to my my local comic book store this morning, my mailbox that's on my front porch, and I got my comics. And it's telling me here this week that I have 23 issues. That seems to be leveling out to be the kind of the average, the what I'm getting per week right now until I start cutting back on all those Rebirth books. Of course, there's more Rebirth books coming, we hear, so that'll be kind of cool. So checking out my ads here, give me an ads for Champions, which I did not pick up. Telling me that if some places had launch parties and you could get the Champion standees, those would be paper dolls, I believe, and some pins and a Champions litho by Scotty Young. Well, let's see what other crap we got here. Once again, the Defender. Gotta get all the time. Marvel's hitting me with all kinds of ads. Mosaic. No idea what Mosaic is. That doesn't tell me what Mosaic is either, other than it starts in October. Oh, is Mosaic... Well, I don't know. It's got Iron Man in it. It's got Spider-Man in the background back there, so I have no idea. Somebody will tell me, I'm sure. And, of course, advertising for the Doctor Strange. Anyway, let's get to the good stuff. We're not here for the ads. We're here for the meat and potatoes of comics. What do we got? Moonshine, issue number 1. Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Rizzo. Known, I think, mostly, largely as a team for doing 100 Bullets. 100. I don't have that run of comics. I need to get it. It's on my Christmas list. It's going to be on my Christmas list to get it in trades. They also did like Spaceman, which is the most recent thing I can remember them doing together. Really dug that. So yeah, I'm excited for this. It's werewolves and gangsters and running Moonshine. Can't go wrong with that, right? That's an Image book. Nightwing. This is issue number 6, part 5 of the whole Monster Men thing. So I'm assuming I read this and then I'll go back and then I'll go read the Batman one, which I'm sure comes out this week also. Huge spoiler right there on the cover for what happened to the last issue of the Monster Men stuff. So curious to see how that pans out. It's been, okay, as far as a little crossover type thing goes. Well, there's the ad for that Doctor Strange. Looking forward to seeing where, what's next for Doctor Strange. This is the new arc, number 1, Blood in the Ether, starts now. So clearly, if you haven't been reading Doctor Strange, this might be a jump-on point. I don't know that 100% for sure, because of course I haven't read it yet, but I would guess they're implying that's a jump-on point. If you needed a jump-on point. Amazing story. Paper Girls, issue number 10. Really excited to see where this all leads to. The last issue we're kind of left with a potential stepping way into the future. I mean, these kids are already in the future, being from 86 going to, or 88? 86? Can't remember which. To 2016. What's next is all of our future, so that could be cool. See how that turns out. No Mercy, issue number 10. Been a while since we had an issue of No Mercy. Always excited to read this book. Depressing as hell, violent as all could be, and like I said, I always say about this, it feels kind of like a survivor horror story from like a B-level movie of the 80s. And I don't say any of those things in a bad way. That's just the vibe that I get from it. And I always enjoy it when it comes out. The last issue, if I remember correctly, was an issue that had to do with these Christian camps, conversion camps, that were pretty horrible. needless to say. So Batman, issue number 8. Well, no, I was wrong. This is part 4 of the Monster Inn. So I have to read this first. I thought it ended in this. But yeah, so we'll see. Actually, there's another issue of Detective Comics with this in it. Now that I think about it, which is where 6 is. So this is our middle ground. Kind of had the monsters exposed. Now what's next? Cyborg. Issue number 2. Curious to see where this story is going to go. Last issue had to do with kind of, does Cyborg have a soul? Going to listen to some live jazz. Feels like he does. What's next? And the ultimate bad guy in this is a guy that looks kind of like Cyborg. So I'm interested in that because they keep teasing potentially all these other cybernetic-esque type characters in it. You know, from the Metal Men to OMAC to all kinds of stuff. So I'm just kind of curious to see if they keep using that stuff or not. Ever After, this is issue number 2. We'll see how this one reads. First issue wasn't very strong for me, so let's see what issue 2 is going to bring to the table. Green Arrow, issue number 8. Back on the island. Looks like Ollie is not stuck there by himself. Otto Schmidt back on the art. So definitely excited about this. Island of Scars, part 1. Death of Hawkman, which originally was actually entitled something else. It wasn't Death of Hawkman. It was something else, and it was going to play with Hawkman and Adam Strange. Not that I care that they've changed the name of it. 1 of 6. Looking forward to reading this. Always kind of liked Hawkman. Always kind of liked Adam Strange. So curious to see how that all plays out. And we got some great villains. It looks like villains' heads in the background. So be curious to see what that ends up being like. So that's pretty cool. And here we have Justice League number 6. New story. I believe this is the State of Fear part 1. So we'll see how that plans out. New artists on the book. Matthew Clark. I have been a fan of Matthew Clark's in the past. I actually own some of his original work when he worked on Doom Patrol. So there is that. I enjoyed the first arc of Justice League, so I'm looking forward to seeing what the next arc is going to be like and what the whole fear thing is. Should be some cool stuff, hopefully. Midnighter and Apollo, issue number 1 of 6, another miniseries. Excited about this. Love that I told you we weren't done. Them as a couple. We'll see how this all pans out. Really, really liked Midnighter. I see they've completely dropped the chin spike on him now. But I really, really liked Midnighter, the Midnighter series while it was coming out. This is done by the same people who did the Midnighter run as far as creators go, Orlando and Blanco. So, yeah, I'm stoked for it. Excited to see how that pans out. Ooh, another book I'm excited about. Dead Man. This is Dead Man, The Dark Mansion of Forbidden Love. And in case people didn't know, the Dark Mansion of Forbidden Love actually was a comic from the Golden Age. It was kind of horror romance, truly. It was to try and, I think, a grab at knowing full well that back in the day, not that women haven't always been reading comic books, but they actually catered to the audience for a while there. So we'll be curious to see what this is. Is this ends up being some sort of a gothic romance with Dead Man involved in it? I'm excited for it. This is book 1. It's of 3, I believe. It is square bound, so I don't know what's that called, prestige format, whatever you want to call it. I don't remember what the price is on the book offhand. Let me pick up my notes here off the floor that I unceremoniously throw on the ground. Well, it is a $5.99 book, but square bound. Hey, I don't have a problem with that. Of course, with my discount, I got it at 50% off, so $2.99. Holding the line. So yeah, why wouldn't I try that out? Plus fact, really, really like Dead Man. Dead Man's one of those characters, I feel like he's like the creeper. I just kind of need to go and pick up all the stuff he's in. It's one of those kind of weird goals that I need to set for myself. I just haven't. And probably if I actually had local comic book stores with treasure troves of long boxes, I would be more active to pick that kind of stuff up. Now a large portion of it is, hunting on the internet, and that's a lot harder and not quite as enjoyable. So Suiciders of Hele, issue number 6, final of this run of the book. We'll see if there's more coming after this. I've enjoyed this quite a bit. I am curious to see if we keep getting these kind of like little mini series about this universe of the Suiciders, because I like the universe. It's interesting. It's an interesting, post-apocalyptic, blah blah blah. So the new arc of Insects, issue 8. I believe this is the new arc. Yeah, I'm just really curious to see what happens next. What's next for these characters? Or have we moved on to somebody else? Because this person is certainly not, looks like some sort of wild deity. This is certainly not somebody that I'm familiar with, but interesting to see what that is. Aftershocks Comics. Rise the Black Flame, issue number 2. Oh, that's such a cool cover. So check it out. So we got our boat here, and it's a sunset or sunrise. I'm going to say sunset. Floating out here, right? Out on the water, in between some islands or whatever, and then the reflection of what would be the sun in the water. Of course, is a skull. That is cool. So, yeah, I'm really liked the first issue of Rise of the Black Flame. Curious to see how issue number 2 of 5 reads. Great art on it. Interesting time. Oh, curious about that. Oh, wow. Revival. Issue number 43, we're rolling towards the end. I love this cover. I love the starkness of it. Her there with her baby, and you can see the ghosty fetus floating around in there. I don't know if that means that that's what it's going to be for her or not. Last issue had this huge bombshell of, pointing out which, the butler did it kind of statement at the very end of last issue. Now I'm curious to see if this issue provides the why of the murder and who did it. Clean Room, issue number 12. We have now learned that this is the final issue of Davis Hunt on the book. Gail Simone promises that there's awesome artists coming next, so we'll see who that is. Curious to see if Winter stays on as a colorist. I like the coloring in the book. Art's been really strong. The art's not a deal breaker for me, though. Mostly interested in the story. Art has been great. But I don't think it's gonna, unless they get somebody who's like, hire Liefeld to do it or something weird like that. I'm not too concerned about the art issues. So yeah, what's next for the story? I'm just real curious. This kind of feels like it's all over the place, not in a bad way, but there's just a lot of moving pieces going on, and are those pieces going to sort of jive together? Curious to see how that is. Because, the Hunter Davis is going to be doing, he's moving on to, DC is restarting the Wildstorm imprint. And Warren Ellis is kind of behind that. And the first book that's going to come out is a team book. And Hunter Davis is doing the art on that team book. So kind of cool. Art Ops, issue number 12. Great family portrait here. What's next for this story? I have no idea. I just really enjoy the Art Ops. It's kind of a trippy, kind of a fun book. So looking forward to enjoying that. A book that I missed issue number 2 of. This is issue number 3 of Archangels by William Gibson. That's the reason I'm picking it up. Just because, the godfather of cyberpunk, what's he going to do with a comic book or whatnot? So I'm just not going to worry about missing number 2 at this point. I'm not sure when I'll end up ordering that and getting it mailed to me. So I'm just going to go on. I'll read number 3 and see how it works out for me. And then I'll go back and read the whole thing when I get number 2. Again, probably 2. Unless it's just by the time I get to the end, it's awful or something. Hasn't been awful. It's been interesting. But like I said, I haven't read it for 2 months now because I'm missing issue 2. Getting to the bottom of the list here, Superman issue number 8. I've been really digging Superman. The first arc was fabulous. What's next? What's next for Superman and his son? Really looking forward to checking that out. Escape from Dinosaur Island Part 1. So we're seeing all these titles on the top here, which is cool. I mean, it's cool that they are giving us on the outside of that too, like some of that old school elements of comic book covers. I do enjoy. I'm looking forward to the dropping of the Rebirth part, even though it's not too disruptive, but I do like that. Curious though that all of these are getting titles this way. I mean, even gives it more of a feel like, oh, so this is right for the trade kind of a thing, I guess, for people who complain about that or comment on that or whatnot. But yeah, Dinosaur Island. I'm down. I'm down for Superman and his son hanging out on Dinosaur Island and playing with the dinosaurs. So we'll see what that ends up being like. Escape from Dinosaur Island. Another book I'm super excited about. These last couple books that are here, I'm just really pumped for. This is Shipwreck. This is another new Aftershocks comic. This is a mini-series. Can't remember how many issues it is. Warren Ellis, who I am a big fan of. It feels like he's come back to comics with a lot of energy and whatnot, so I'm excited about that. And Phil Hester, who is just an all-around great guy. Doing the art on this, Phil Hester did a great run of art on Green Arrow, back in the Brad Metzler and Kevin Smith era of Green Arrow, which I enjoy a lot of that era of Green Arrow. He's written, Phil Hester also understands the writing side of it. He's written lots of great stuff. Mystic is the current thing that he had written for Image. He wrote some Wonder Woman. Just a lot of stuff that I really enjoy from him. What I'm also really curious about this is halfway through this, he gets a new eye. Phil Hester does the artist. He was having vision problems and had a cornea transplant. So interesting in that aspect also. But I'm just super excited about this. Great people, creators of the book. Really excited to see what they do. What does it look like? I'm telling this. And finally, #1 issue of the newest of the Young Animals imprint, Shade the Changing Girl. I was a huge Shade the Changing Man fan back when it first started. The second volume of the book started out in the mid to late 80s, right before it became a Vertigo book and whatnot. Collected it all the way almost through. I still need to get some of the final of that run of issues, and really enjoyed it. Really excited to be checking this out. Not necessarily familiar with any of the creators that are on the book. Celia Castellucci and Marley Zaccone and Kelly Fitzpatrick. Not real familiar with any of those creators, but looking at the interiors, and I didn't really read it, but just kind of glancing at some of the preview pages that were in some of the other books, looks really cool as far as that goes. I'm hoping it's a fun, smart book. The premise of it, I am really curious about. Basically, from this other zone, this young teenage girl is obsessed with our universe, with television in particular, sitcoms, family sitcoms, and for reasons I don't remember exactly why, she ends up putting on the meta vest, which is how they transport through the dimension to come to and ride in the body of a young girl, and experience life for some reason. And I'm excited about all that. Becky Cloonan covers are going to rock. I hear there are variant covers by Tula Latoy. Some of those look really, really sweet. I'm going to be torn. I don't really want to buy a bunch of variant covers. I typically want to have the regular cover on most of the stuff, but some of those covers look pretty awesome. Any rate, that is it. Thanks for watching. Took way too long to show those books as I was the ramble. Any rate, hope to have them read. Check us out on Saturday, Comic Book Roundtable, where I'm sure I'll be talking about a few of these books anyway. Hope everybody else is having a fabulous weekend. I hope you got your books. I hope you're enjoying the hell out of them. For those of you who are in Florida in the United States and north of that, please take care this weekend. Obviously, Hurricane Matthew is pounding the crap out of a ton of people and stuff like that. Clearly save your comic books, but save yourself first. And for my friends north of the border in Canada, happy Thanksgiving coming up this next week, if I don't chat with you before or during that time. Have a great one, everybody.